Hello, I'm Sarah Bargijian and welcome to your yoga class with me today. This is a class specifically designed to help you sleep. It's a class that you can do after an evening meal because we're not going to do any deep forward folds, we're not going to do any inversions, it's going to be very low to the floor, and we're not going to have any shavasana because I have found that if you get sleepy or you even touch into nodding off in shavasana, that then disrupts trying to actually go to sleep when you're lying in bed and you really want to have as many hours of shut-eye as you can. You're going to need a bolster. You don't have to have a bolster. You can have some rolled up blankets or a couple of blocks with a blanket to go over it to soften. I recommend you have a nice cup of tea or a herbal tea, not anything with caffeine in it, perhaps some warm milk, whatever it might be, that you can sip at any point during this quite short class, but it's nice to have it there. A candle is lovely. I've got some lavender oil here. I'm just going to put a couple of drops on the top of my mat. Again, this is optional. And let's begin. Before we actually do begin with our poses, please do make sure that you have subscribed, and please feel free to leave any comments or questions below. I would love to know how this sequence goes for you, if it really helps you to go to sleep. It's not a guarantee, but I would just love to know if it perhaps influenced you being able to get off to sleep a little bit earlier or even stay asleep longer. And also, please do consider becoming a patron, especially if you're coming to these YouTube classes regularly. I can support you more as a patron, and also it's wonderful to know that you're giving me a little bit of support here as well. Let's begin. So you're going to need your bolster or your block or your blankets, and I want you to put them on the left-hand side of your mat at the top and come just behind it so that you can then step your right foot forward and bring your hands down onto the bolster. So this is just a prop here for your hands. Make sure that your back toes are tucked under, your toenails are on the floor. You may well be up a lot higher than this, that's absolutely fine, but do make sure that your hands are inside your right foot. You may find, and we're going to hold this for about 30 more seconds, that over time you can bring one elbow down and perhaps the other elbow down. You may even find that you can move this prop, the bolster, whatever it may be, completely away and bring your left elbow down and possibly your right. But I don't want you to feel like this has to be your deepest ever lizard pose. So I'm going to keep my elbows on the bolster. And look down here, and if you feel like your neck is straining, you can make fists with your hands and rest your forehead so that your neck doesn't have to hold up the weight of your head. Quite often, having tight hips or aching hips doesn't help getting to sleep. So we're going to do a few simple, long-held poses to help open up the hips so that you feel like you can lie on your bed with more ease. There's more opening, not only in your muscles, your joints, all the tissues that hold your bones together, but also in the energy that moves around your body. Hopefully you'll feel a smoothness and a calm throughout your body having done this sequence. And that will help to induce a really good night's sleep. So we're going to do the other side here. Raise your head if it was on your fists. Place your hands down and move your bottom back and bring the right foot back with you. Put the props over onto the other side, so just roll the bolster over if you've got that. You can even put your left hand or your right hand on it and step your left foot forward. Take your time building the basic shape of the pose. There's no hurry here. You can keep your elbows straight. If you find that hanging your head strains your neck, you can even slightly look forward, but do keep your gaze grounded and down. If it's okay for you to bring your right elbow down, then do. And then again, you've got that option with your fists, or perhaps you have another block here that you can rest your forehead on. Only remove the props if you're able to keep your left knee straight up. A little bit out to the left is okay, but we don't want to completely move the body around here. I want to keep your pelvis more or less in line with your left heel and your right knee, kind of in between rather than moving over to the right. Loosen your jaw a little bit here, even by moving it a little to the left and the right. Let your face sort of drop down towards the floor and your mouth slightly open. Check that you're not tightening your shoulders. Scan your whole body. If you feel like you need to slightly squeeze your bottom here to protect your lower back or your hips, then do. We're only going to be here for about 10 more seconds. But if you feel like you need to support and hold anywhere in your body, do, because you've chosen to, not as a stress reaction and a tightening of the muscles. Coming out now, raise your head, bring your hands to the floor, and then again move your bottom back and bring the left foot back and roll your bolster off and come to hands and knees. So your mat is completely clear here. Bring your knees together. Now, again, the left toenails are on the floor, and as you inhale, pick up your left leg and stretch it behind you. On your next exhalation, draw your left knee towards your nose. Inhale, extend it back. Keep your arms straight. Keep pushing your hands down. Exhale again, draw your knee to your nose. Slightly squeeze the right buttock in here. Inhale, straighten it back. This is the last time. Exhale, knee to nose. And bring your knee down next to the left leg, next to the right leg rather. Now pick up the right leg. Push the heel long behind you, straighten that leg, squeeze the left buttock gently in. On your next exhalation, draw your knee towards your nose, round your back, draw your forehead towards your knee. Inhale, extend again, reach that leg straight behind you. Exhale, draw your knee to your nose. Try and keep your arms pretty strong here and press your shoulders towards your back foot. Inhale one more time, lengthen. Exhale, knee to nose, and place your knee down. Now, the shoulders also want to be opened, so move your right hand over to the right side of your mat and slide your hand away. Then draw your chest underneath the left arm. And you can bring your head to the floor if you have that space, otherwise keep your head up. Push your left hand down into the floor and possibly slide the right hand more away and turn the right chest a little bit more towards your left hand. Now slide that right hand back and we'll do the other side. Place your right hand on the floor, bring your left arm out to the side, more or less in line with the shoulder. And again, turn your belly and chest underneath this right arm. Possibly bring the head to the floor, maybe not. If you can bring the head to the floor, then do. Squeeze your knees slightly towards each other. Come back up to hands and knees. Now we're going to twist in a different way. Pick up the right hand with the palm facing up. Slide it underneath the left armpit and again, bring the head to the floor. Press your hand gently down, the right hand. And if you push the left hand down a little more, you might find you can slide that right hand a little further away from you and then press it down again. Come to the other side, slide the right hand back, pick your head up, put your right hand down, the left hand palm up, again slide it to the right, rest your head, and try and keep your breathing smooth and calm here. Imagine that you're breathing in and out through a straw, even though you're breathing in and out through your nose. It's very steady, somewhat controlled, not to the point of it being stressful. Push the right hand down so you can slide the left hand back. And then just to open up the chest a little bit, walk your hands forward, Make sure your index fingers are parallel to each other. Move the knees back so that you can then lower your chest and perhaps your forehead will touch the floor. It doesn't matter if it doesn't. Gently press down through the bases of each of your fingers and thumbs and press your tailbone down towards the floor. Again, breathe calmly and evenly through that imaginary straw. And on your next inhalation, pick your head up, walk your hands back, and come into child's pose. So widen your knees, make sure your big toes are touching side by side. Lift up your tailbone, sit onto your heels, finger crawl your hands forward so your arms stay straight. Place your hands flat and rest your forehead either onto the floor or perhaps onto your bolster if your head is hanging in space. I want you to be able to rest your neck here. And again, imagine you're breathing in and out through a straw so that your breathing is controlled and the breath comes in a steady stream in your body and then out. And tell yourself that all you're doing now is connecting your mind to your body, so you're very aware of how your body feels in each pose and how it responds. And you're also aware of making your breathing steady and calm. So when your mind wanders away and you start thinking about other things, tell yourself, not now, it's just about the body and the breath now. Now come back up to hands and knees. Move your body weight forward. And again, get your bolster or your blocks and your blanket. This time, place them more towards the back of your mat. And if it is just blocks, then just stack them on the second height and put a blanket or two over them. And I'll show you why. This is what you're going to do next. So you're going to sit ahead of your prop, bring the soles of your feet together, bring your hands onto the floor behind you, and lie back. Now, if you find that this is too much for your lower back, then get another blanket or towel and put it underneath your bottom, and that will take out the intensity or some of the intensity in the lower back curve that you're putting your body into as you do this. So try this, and if it's too much, then get a towel or a blanket and put it underneath your bottom. It's quite nice also to put another blanket folded up underneath your head here, particularly if you feel like your chin is higher than your forehead. Then place the backs of your hands on the floor and let your shoulders release. You're going to stay here for about a minute. Let your knees rest down towards the floor. And again, come back to your breath. So once your body is more or less in place and still, be interested in opening up the front body, the rib cage, with every inhalation that's slow and steady. And gently compressing the rib cage down as you let the diaphragm rise up to expel that exhalation. Each and every time, very steady. Don't force it to be longer than is naturally comfortable. Every breath is nourishing, helpful, life enhancing, life maintaining. Just be with that. About 3 more breaths here. And then press your elbows down into the floor beside you so that you can pick up your head, tuck your chin under, and place your hands down so that you can come all the way up. Now turn so that you're now facing your prop and bring your legs wide. Now if you have that other blanket that you may well have been sitting on before, sit on it again, bring it back, put it underneath your sitting bones here. And sit as close as you can towards your bolster so that it is going to land in your lower belly as you now come forwards. Now, if you see me doing this and you think, oh my God, that's just going to be too intense for me, then feel free to go and get other blankets, other bolsters, whatever you may have to hand, so that you can be propped up higher. Whatever you're doing, if you can bring your forehead onto the bolster, then do that. If you prefer to turn your head to the side, then do, and I'll tell you when we're about halfway through the pose. Again, about a minute here. Have your legs slightly engaged, so squeeze around your knees a little bit here to help support the stretch in the backs of your legs. You can wrap your arms around the front of the bolster or just have your arms either side. But do make sure that your elbows are bent and your arms are rested and your shoulders are as loose as you can make them, and you can even move them around slightly to check that they are. Now breathe into the more obvious back of your body and notice with each steady inhale and exhale the movement in the back ribs. You can visualize that you're breathing into the back of your heart and that there's a warmth spreading all across your back through the movement of your breath. If you have turned your head to one side, turn it now to the other side and rest it still again. Check that your hands and your fingers are loose, fingers bent. And really make sure that you are resting the weight of your head down, that your neck isn't holding your head up in any way. If you find you're really sleepy, but you know that if you do fall asleep here, it'll disrupt getting off to sleep when you want to, keep your eyes open. I find keeping my eyes open in poses really helps to focus my mind on what I want it to focus on to, rather than letting it drift away. Do what works for you. And from here, push your elbows down to raise your head up. Walk your hands back. Come all the way up. And then remove your bolster. We're going to lie down here, so just scooch over to one side with your knees bent. Bring your elbows down. Come all the way down onto your shoulders and the back of your head, and widen your feet right to the edges of your mat. Bring your arms out to the side with your palms up as if you were in Shavasana, and drop both your knees over to the right. Show the soles of your feet to the left side of the room. And as you inhale, pick up your knees, and as you exhale, drop them over to the left and stay here. Again, pick up the knees. Exhale, drop them to the right. Inhale, pick up your knees. Exhale, drop them to the left. Inhale, pick up your knees. And then pick up your feet and draw your knees in towards your shoulders. Then cross your right leg completely over your left. Put your left hand on the first knee, your right hand onto the second knee, and gently draw your knees in towards your chest. Relax your arms and your shoulders. Then bring your left foot down to the floor. Pick your bottom up, bring it a good 10 centimeters over to the right side of your mat, and drop both of your knees over to the left. Again, just rest your arms. Try and let the right shoulder be heavy. Drop it down towards the floor. Push your feet down so that you can inhale and bring your knees up. Uncross the right leg. Bring your bottom back into center. Again, draw both knees in towards your shoulders. Release the knees and cross your left leg completely over the right, no gaps. Draw your knees in towards your chest gently. Again, relax your shoulders and your jaw, even the muscles around your mouth and your eyes. Bring the right foot down. Pick your bottom up, bring it over to the left side of your mat and drop your knees to the right. Again, a heavy left shoulder. You could even push your right elbow down and pick up the back right ribs, move them a little more to the right side of your mat, and that will help you to bring the left shoulder a little closer down. Now, as you inhale, bring your knees up, uncross the left leg, bring the left foot to the floor, then roll over onto your right side and come up to sit. Cross your legs. Sit on the blanket if it feels more comfortable for you. Bring your hands onto your knees and sit tall with your eyes closed down. Then bring your hands into your heart and lower your chin. Feel the softness in your body here. Upright, sitting with your core engaged, but only enough to sit with a tall, easy posture. And bring your hands down onto your legs. Raise your chin and open your eyes. Namaste. Good night. I hope you sleep well. Take care.